Hello and welcome to day 66 of our 2790 series. Today we continue reading Paul's first letter to the Thessalonian church. We're going to read chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is another of the corporate letters that Paul wrote, intending it to be read out loud in church and possibly even passed from church to church. It's encouraging to see that there's not a lot of behavioral correction that Paul needs to make with this church. In fact, he's very proud of this church because they received the gospel in not just in word, but in power. And what he means by that is that too many times people receive the gospel, they hear it, and they're drawn to it, but they only hear the words, and it doesn't transform their lives. So there's no power in what they receive. And so they have ears to hear, but they do not hear. It's only when we're transformed and truly begin to live a life that pursues holiness that the gospel has power to change our lives. Because when we want to change and become more godly in our lives, then the Holy Spirit gives us the power to become that. When we're working in our own strength and of our own will, and we want to make a change, or we think we should make a change, then we're working in our own strength and we don't really have the help of the Holy Spirit to continue to work in us. And so the only correction that Paul has for this church, the only word of encouragement that he has, is really kind of a theological point. He says, yes, you've heard that Jesus is coming back. And apparently someone's followed after Paul and tried to discourage the church by telling them that Jesus has already come back and they didn't get saved, that something happened and they didn't make it in. And Paul assures them, no, the day of the Lord has not yet come, but it will come. But understand, it'll come like a thief in the night. It's not something that you really need to worry about. And so don't listen to these people who come at you and teach you using tools like flattery, greed, trying to praise you and trying to make you feel good about where you are. Being a Christian is about being transformed into a godly man or woman, and that means we have to be changed. We are on our way to becoming perfect. We have not yet made it, but we are pursuing it. And that means we're always open to God making correction. You enjoy Paul's first letter to the Thessalonian church.